But lawmakers are sharply divided about what, if any, military options the president should take in Iraq. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin serves on the Senate Armed Services Committee and joins me now. Senator, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Andrea.
Well, our reporting, Senator, is that the president has decided against airstrikes, other than what Predator drones could do with Hellfire missiles, perhaps, but against airstrikes because the intelligence just isn't good enough. You've heard what Lindsey Graham said and John McCain today. I gather that you are against taking strong military action at this point in what is evolving into a civil war.
Definitely, the president has more information than I do or any of us here in Congress do, and especially in the Senate. But the bottom line is, if you don't have good intel, if you don't have good ground support intel, it's kind of hard to do and be as effective as you want to be without collateral damage. So I understand that from that standpoint. I understand also we're protecting our embassy, and I think that's a responsibility that we all have, and the president definitely has. I am not under any way, shape, or form supportive, Andrew, and I think you know that, of putting troops back in there. I think that basically it's a sectarian war. We're not going to prevent that from happening. This is something that's been going on for centuries, and all of a sudden we want to basically come in there and say that kumbaya and peace to all. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think we can. If money or military might would change that part of the world, Andrew, we'd have done it by now. We have given an awful lot in sacrifices of our young men and women, and basically the resources of our country that's much needed back home. I think enough is enough.
What are you hearing from back home?
Well, back home, I mean, we're a hockey state. You follow me? We like. I said West Virginia. We sign up. We have more veterans per capita. But you know, we're pretty common sense, and we're just saying enough's enough. The bottom line is you are not going to change a sectarian mentality. This is not ideological. It's not philosophical, and it's not something that we understand as Westerners. So for us to get in there and try to change that culture, it won't happen. And West Virginia understands that. And I'm not going to continue to keep trying to push that genie back into that bottle, because that's not going to happen. Why we should throw more resources and more lives at risk doesn't make any sense. If they're going to redraw the lines based on Kurds and Shiite and Sunnis, let them redraw the line. Our main purpose for making sure that it's not a breeding ground. Now, if you think we have to have occupation there to prevent that from happening, I think we have more technology and we have a better, superior special ops people that can do that, Andrea. I don't think you have to have a permanent presence there and trying to change the culture, which is what we've done for 12 to 13 years.
What would you say to John McCain? Let me show you what he said on the Senate floor about a half hour ago.
The administration and its defenders are now scrambling to pin the blame for this catastrophic failure on anyone but themselves. They're trying to blame the Bush administration. They're trying to blame people like myself and the senator from South Carolina for voting to authorize the war, while conveniently forgetting that the Vice President Biden, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, his predecessor, Secretary Clinton, and many other Democrats still serving in this body voted for the war in Iraq as well.
I know this preceded your tenure in the Senate when you were, I guess, a governor in West Virginia. But where does this political debate end with so much bitterness back and forth? The blame game over who lost Iraq?
Where does the politics stop? I mean, when do we start being Americans, Andrea, and quit being Democrats and Republicans trying to annihilate each other? We're too good of a country for this. We really are. We've got a serious situation here. I don't believe any way, shape, or form we should be negotiating with a terrorist of Iran that supports terrorist groups. I don't believe that. To go into that and say they're going to be our allies makes no sense to me whatsoever. They're going to continue to fight. They're going to continue to try to annihilate each other. I want to make sure they don't come to America, don't harm Americans or America, any way, shape, or form. That's my main purpose. And every West Virginian I know will support our mission of doing that. Now, with all this other stuff, I'm not blaming anybody that voted for it. I think it was wrong to turn left and go to Iraq when we should have kept our eye on the terrorists that basically plotted and planned and did absolutely devastating harm to our country. Now, it might have taken us to Iraq eventually, but with that being said, forget about it. It's over. We have done that. You can't rebuy that real estate again. You just can't do it. And they've got to have a will to fight and die. If they're not going to, if they don't want a country that they're willing to fight and die for, then they're going to have a different country. And we're not going to prevent that from happening, Andrea.
I want to ask you before you go whether the administration, whether the Pentagon should be at least complimented, excuse me, for what the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Martin Dempsey, described as a very complicated mission that took months of planning to grab that guy responsible, they say, the key suspect for Benghazi.
Here's the thing. I've heard the dialogue going back and forth on this gentleman that they apprehended about the Benghazi attacks. With that being said, it depends on, do we just want to nab him off the street? I'm sure they could have done that months and months and months ago. You want to build a case against him so we can prosecute this person and make him come to justice and put him to justice here in America. And I think that is what has been done. That's what I've been informed on. And if that's the case, then we have a strong case against this man. He'll be prosecuted and justice will be done.
Joe Manchin, thank you very much. The
Thanks,
senator from
Andrea,
West
for having
Virginia.
me.